It's Matt for breakfast on Spirit 1026 Headland. Now, get excited. This is the best time of the year, personally, anyway. The Melbourne International Comedy Festival Roadshow will be rolling into town this weekend. I understand tomorrow night's show is sold out. There are still tickets, though. Head to mattdan.com for the Sunday show, so make sure you quickly get in for that one. One of our special guests who will be there is joining me on the line this morning. That is Tegan Higgenbotham. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are we feeling today?
Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. I'm not in Melbourne where the weather is shit, so I feel excellent.
Indeed. Now, of course, Tegan Higgenbotham, it's a great name. And I was just saying off the air, Higgenbotham, Higgenbotham. Do you get a lot of people mess that up completely straight away?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm generally introduced onto the stage as Higgenbotham.
Yep.
So really, yeah, anyway, as long as it's not that, and I'm a very happy lady.
That's always good. Now, have you been up to the Northwest before?
No, I haven't actually.
So,
which is really exciting for me. I not only do I get to perform, I just get to see a lot of new places. It's great.
Yeah, that's always good. Now, you've been a part of the International Comedy Festival circuit for some time. What have been some of the highlights that you've noticed?
There's been so many, really. I think sometimes you'll just find that, you're on stage with somebody who you really look up to, and that can be quite exciting. Like I got to do a gig at this venue in Melbourne called the Comics Lounge this year with Rove, and I've been watching Rove. He was one of my favourites when I was younger, and so those sorts of little moments are quite special for me. But generally, I don't know, it's just when you have a good night, when the crowd's with you, those are always the best bits,
Oh, you're taking me back there. I didn't actually go to bed until What The was on. It was always great memories.
I know, right? Yeah, I was exactly the same.
Oh, fantastic. Now, you've had a lot of shows related to sports. What's do you have a bit of an obsession with sport?
It didn't start off as an obsession. I'd been interested in boxing when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I did this show about boxing, and I actually went and had a couple of professional fights and trained and all that sort of stuff. And then I hadn't even, planned this, but then my next show just happened to be about one of my heroes when I was younger, a footballer called Brendan Favola.
Oh, yes, we all know him.
You all know Fev, right? Well, I loved him, right? So I did this show about Fev, and I met Fev, and it turns out he's a lovely person.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just happened that then I became kind of known as the sportier comedian.
Yeah.
And that began that snowball effect, and now I get to talk about sport quite a lot, which makes me really happy.
Hey, that's always awesome, and particularly in Victoria as well. Western Australians love their sport too. Now, of course, that show touched by Fev, you were questioning whether sporting heroes should be role models as well. Now, another big hero, Chris Judd, retiring this week.
I know.
He's posed that same question as well. What is your initial thought on that?
I actually think that we put far too much pressure on these people, and I think we're just too in their personal lives.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they play sport, and although they might be great at playing sport, they play sport. And I just think that there are probably other people that we could look up to more, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I don't love, footballers. I was so sad that Chris Judd is now out. Like, that's really upsetting. But, is he a hero? I'm not too sure.
All right, very interesting. Always up for a discussion. It's always good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just think that sort of status puts pressure on people that it's not good for the footballers either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. Now, we've got Tegan Higgenbotham on the line. She'll be at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival Roadshow this weekend. Plenty more. She'll be joining me right after this on the Spirit. Spirit 1026 Headland, Tegan Higgenbotham, a very, very funny comedian, joining me on the line this morning. Now, your filmography, very, very wide. I can't believe you're part of Thank God You're Here, another great show of mine, as we were mentioning Rove a little earlier. Tell us a bit about that.
Oh, it was actually really exciting for me. I was much, much younger. I was, I think, maybe 17 or 18 or something, and they were considering at the time putting together a teenage version of Thank God You're Here. So I'd auditioned for that and gone through that whole process, and in the end that show didn't get up, but I got to go and still perform in a couple of the adult shows. Now, that's not as the person who walks through the door, I will make that very clear. I got to be one of the people who hung out in the back and just performed alongside the main cast. And in my scenes, I was in there with Tony Martin, and that was pretty exciting because he is amazing.
He was
amazing
great.
Comedian.
Yeah. Martin Malloy was another show I used to listen to every single day on the radio. Absolutely fantastic there. Have you been paying attention? You've been a part of that too. Tell us, I guess, a bit like Thank God You're Here, where you've got to be on your feet. How quick is it just to basically find a very funny answer?
It is. It's really, really quick, and you've got to be so focused. And I remember the first time I was sitting next to Glenn Robbins,
Yeah.
So it was just particularly hard for me to be like, focus Higgenbotham.
Yeah.
Because I'd very happily just sit there and listen to everything Glenn Robbins wanted to say instead.
I look at him and I can't get Uncle Arthur and Russell Coit out of my head, basically.
It's Russell Coit for me.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly right.
I just adore that. Me and my sisters, we'd actually go out into the back garden and try and reenact everything that he'd done on the show.
Now, you will be up in Headland this weekend. Tell us a bit about what we have in store.
Oh, my God, there's such amazing shows. I've been on this tour for probably about a week and a half now. You've got Will Sylvans over from New York. He's absolutely amazing. There's the musical comedy duo Elbow Skin, and they are fantastic. They've got some of my favourite comedy songs in the world. Reese Nicholson from Sydney. I know I'm forgetting people. Oh, Dave Williams, the MC. Like, there's just this amazing selection of great comedians from all over the place, international and local, and it's a really great show. Like, it's such an amazing lineup.
Yeah, no, we certainly can't wait. That is the Melbourne International Comedy Festival Roadshow coming to Port Hedland tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow night sold out. Sunday, tickets still available. Go to mattdan.com. Tegan Higgenbotham, both of them. Thank you very much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We got plenty more coming up right here on Spirit Breakfast.